Brittany, baby, you are going to drive yourself crazy. You're forcing it. You're forcing it. You're forcing it. Good morning. What's up, y'all? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is Tammy Talks. It is early, 5 o'clock. Y'all know when I got to do a video in the morning, it's always going to be 5 o'clock because I get up because I got to get to work. But let's talk Married at First Sight, season 19, episode 4, Falling for You. We are in Austin over on the Peacock. If you guys are brand new to the channel, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, hype the video, and leave your comments down below. We still have a goal of 50,000 subs by the end of this year. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, y'all. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it. So we start off with Josh and Jalen. They're laying in bed and they decided they're going to rank the couples. And I said, okay, the couple that does that usually, okay. But they, of course, put themselves first. They then have Megan and Derek underneath because they feel like they have good chemistry. They put Pat and Rhonda. Then they put Belinda and Chad, and they put Will and Brittany last. Now, Josh said Will and Brittany are last because he hasn't seen a lot from them. He didn't see them interacting that much or talking that much together. I said, okay. They're definitely last, but okay. So Josh decides that let's go do some outdoor activities. He's an outdoorsy type of guy. Jalen is not an outdoorsy girl. So he talks about how he wants to go to Burning Man. Now, he gave her a ticket as part of her, like, bridal gift or whatever. So the way that he described Burning Man is there's no hotels, and once you're there, you can't leave. Count me out. Count me out. What you mean there's no hotel? What you mean I gotta stay there the whole time? No, I'm not going. So Jalen is worried about this lifestyle change. You married a stranger, sis. You married somebody that might not have the same hobbies and interests as you. Yes, your life is gonna change. Okay? But y'all the number one couple. What? What? So it should be okay. So we get to Megan and Derek. So he tells her that he can tie a cherry stem with his tongue. I said, oh. How fancy of you. So she said that she's been so independent for so long that sharing her spending purchases will be weird. So she's like, I spend this much on ice and I buy this much from Amazon and, random stuff that I buy at the store. And I felt her. But I feel like if you're embarrassed about what you buying, then you shouldn't be buying it. Okay. So he then tells her that he's not super flashy with spending and shopping, so it's whatever. Megan wants to keep it light and easy on the honeymoon. She doesn't want to get into anything deep, and that's why y'all are having the issues that y'all are having now. I don't think Megan likes Derek. I don't think she likes him facially. She likes his body because she's made that known, but I don't think she likes him in the facial sense. And I think that she doesn't want to get too deep with anything because I don't think she plans on staying with him. But y'all should be having some deep conversations. Y'all should be talking about religion and politics. Religion, politics, and finances for sure. Those three things y'all should be talking about off rip. You just should. Okay, so we then panned over, excuse me, rudeness, I'm gonna leave. So then we panned over to Rhonda and Pat. So they're sitting outside, they're having breakfast, and she wants to know what his favorite movies are. And he likes space movies, okay? Space movies and documentaries. And Rhonda was like, okay, I'll watch a documentary with you. Like, I'm not opposed to that, but she likes rom-coms. So Pat starts talking his ear off about what he likes, and Rhonda was listening, okay, but they did the do-do-do-do, that little shebang to make it seem as if he was talking too much. So right after, Rhonda starts saying how she leaves her TV on when she leaves the house and lights and stuff on now because her house was broken into. He doesn't even acknowledge that. He was like, yes, a lot of good series out. A lot of good series out. And so Rhonda felt a way about that, as did I, because it was rude. It was rude. Like, how hard is it to be like, oh my God? Oh my God, like, were you home? Like, there are so many questions that you can ask somebody about their house getting broken into. I thought that was weird and I thought that was rude, Pat. That was rude, Pat. Okay, I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. So we panned over to Brittany and Will. They are getting a massage. And she was like, I thought that couples massages were supposed to be romantic, but this wasn't. But it was okay. I enjoyed it anyways. Look, Brittany, don't get on my fucking nerves every episode. Like, I just kind of feel like it's Brittany. Like, do y'all think maybe Brittany's not attracted to Will? And she's trying to force something? Because, like, girl, every time you're on screen, you complaining about something. What a thing to say. I thought this would be romantic, but it wasn't. But I mean, I guess, like, what a thing to say. So we get to Chad and Belinda. So they talk about whether or not he is okay with her taking his last name, and he was like, yeah, they're out looking at little hats, and it's a cute little moment. They seem way more comfortable with each other this episode than they did at the wedding, and of course that's going to come with some time. I thought they were really cute. He bought her the hat and she let him know, look, I'm not with you, so you can buy me stuff, okay? I don't want you to think that I got money. I can, and he was like, if I thought that you were, I wouldn't have bought you the hat, okay? So she lets him know that she wants to see his romantic side, like slow dancing. And he was like, I can work on that. And he lets her know that he really, really likes her a lot. And I said, oh, you guys are so cute for now, okay? Brittany and Will go to dinner. And we get an awkward conversation about the color orange. She is on an orange top, and he was like, oh, I like your top, great color. Is that orange? And she was like, yeah, orange. And he was like, oh, I thought you were going to say it was like coral or something, as this is. And she was like, no, orange. And I let me get to the end of this conversation. So Brittany's in her confessional crashing out because she is still frustrated from the conversation earlier. Now, I put out this episode, or I'm putting this video out, or filming this video, I should say, very close to when I filmed the last one. So some of the comments that I glanced at, a lot of you guys are saying that you understand how Brittany would feel, but think about it this way, though. Because I saw somebody in my comments that was like, oh, well, Brittany's reaction was warranted because this is your husband, and what if she were pregnant or whatever the case? I get that. However, the way that Brittany described the situation is that they realized, hey, we just went for it. We did not use the proper precautions, i.e., they didn't use a condom, okay? So for her to kind of freak out a little bit about that, and for him to then be like, maybe we should fall back, like you got a little too emotional about this. We're not in a space where we can have these slip ups just yet. I don't see what Will did as wrong. You know what I'm saying? Brittany wants this man to want to be in her skin, and he's not, and she's having a hard time with that. And the way that she has talked about things in her past relationships, I am very, very confident in saying, Brittany, you are the problem. Okay. So Will is saying in his confessional, this morning was a lot, and that he feels that they are there for a reason and they're still just learning about each other. So he asks her, what has she appreciated in her past relationship? And she was like, I like that we move fast. Okay. Like within a week, we will be exclusive. That's what you appreciated from your previous relationships? Not the fact that, oh, he would give me flowers, not the fact that, he would do words of affirmation or, little things like that. You appreciated that y'all were exclusive within a week? She said that they would let whatever they were feeling just kind of happen, and she liked that. And I'm like, that's why your ass is broken up with. That's why you're not with those people anymore, Brittany. Because it seems like you were just acting off of pure emotion and no logic, no responsibility with it. So she then asks him if it takes him a while to open up. And he was like, finally, some hard hitting questions. So she wants them to take advantage of the time that they have to, because they have a little back and forth. I'm not even gonna talk about, because it just gives that she wants to have the final word all the time. She wants to have the last laugh, the final word, whatever you want to say. Because the back and forth that they had was silly. Right? So she wants them to take advantage of the time they have together to have these type of conversations, which can draw them closer to each other. He acknowledges that he knows he needs to work on giving her in the moment his emotions and feelings, and he wants her to continue to ask questions. Neither one of y'all are asking any questions, at least based on the edit. Rhonda and Pat. Rhonda said that, look, she asked him what he has learned about her that is surprising. Because Rhonda said, let me get your ass a pop quiz. Pop quiz. Tell me where my spot is. Tamia said it best, okay? Let me find out. Let me find out. Because you're a stranger. Like, legit, a stranger. So he doesn't have an answer. And I was like, oh, you haven't been paying attention or retaining anything that she has said about herself. Because how don't you have an answer? Like, she's a stranger. It's a ton of shit that should have surprised you. But I guess, so she lets him know that she feels that he is not interested in her life. And he's like, well, I hope that I am. Nigga, you hope or you are. Wrong answer, Pat. Strike two, baby. So she brings up how she brought up that she was robbed and he didn't even acknowledge it. He then said that if there is a pregnant pause, I feel the need to feel it. You could have felt it with something about her, though. You know what I mean? Like, there was no pregnant pause, though. That's the thing. She said that she leaves the lights and the TV on because she was robbed before her house was broken into. And then you were like, yes, a lot of good TV series. You didn't, I mean, sheesh, sheesh. So she then clocks him for being defensive because he was like, I have been asking you questions. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. He then said, well, I am hugely interested in you. So she was like, prove it. Ask me a question. So he then asks her what was one of her dreams as a child. She said she always wanted her name to be Jennifer. And so whenever they would play a game, she would make her name Jennifer. We all had them fake names when we went to the club. He was like, yeah, boys didn't do that. Like, we didn't do games like that. She was like, see, you went back to talking about yourself. I want you to stay focused on me. Now, Rhonda, I'm with you, sis, up until that moment. He was just pushing the conversation along. Now, should he have said something about Jennifer? He could have just said, why Jennifer? Boys didn't do that. He just needed a little prefix to that sentence, right? So she wants him to stay focused on her. And he was like, well, see, you're helping me learn how to be present. At your age, Pat, truth be told, you should know how to be present in the conversation. She then starts talking about her parents, and she gets emotional when talking about how she didn't have a lot of money growing up, and you can tell he was uncomfortable, and then she feels better after that, and then they kiss, both with food in their mouths. Jalen and Josh, so they are on a wildlife boat ride, and it's monkeys and iguanas, and she made sure to constantly let us know she is out of her comfort zone, okay? Were they supposed to feed the monkeys? I feel like maybe that's like a little sanctuary wildlife boat ride. But typically, you shouldn't be feeding the animals out in the wild like that. Megan and Derek. So Megan said in her confessional that she likes their funding banter. I ain't seen you laugh yet. What's funny? So Derek liked being able to handle the passports, and he liked that, she gave him the ability to kind of take charge and be the leader in that moment. Megan says she is perfectly fine with giving up control at home and in her personal life because she's always in control at work. She says she's not overbearing, but she's very matter of fact. She's not a perfectionist, but she likes things done her way. I would love to know what her zodiac is. So Derek starts rambling about how he likes, the lead role and that type of stuff. And at first I was like, what is happening? Like, why was he talking like that? But then it made sense because he feels that he's asking her questions and she's not asking him anything in return. No follow-up questions. She doesn't seem interested in his life. And that's because Megan said, I'm here for vacation. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. And I don't have, like, she doesn't want to deal with that. Pat and Rhonda end up saying, I love you after a sweaty forest meditation session in which he now understands more from their other conversation about not being present with her. And he's going to be more intentional about learning more about her. Time will tell. Time will tell, because this seems too easy right now, Pat. Josh and Jalen, they go to the top of the rainforest. They take a little sky glider ride to the top, and he gives her a bigger ring, and his hands were shaking. I said, don't you drop that ring down in that rainforest. But she was like geeked, and I'm like, okay. Uh, it was one of those, it was a ring that had just a big diamond, and to me, I'm not a fan of like the solitaire diamond like that. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm not a fan of the square shape. Maybe that's, or was it like more rectangle-ish? Maybe that's what it was. But it looked a smidge gaudy. You know what I mean? I've seen some big rings that are fire that you're like, oh my God. This just seemed a little gaudy because you think it was moissanite? But it just looked so big. And then the band was so incredibly thin, but she loves it, and that's all that matters. So the guys are hanging out, and we have to get the scene where, the guys find out who's doing what with who and blah, blah, blah. So Josh is letting the guys know that he thinks that they will be saying, I love you by the end of the honeymoon. Derek said that he is not getting as much interest from her. Now, Pat, who just got his ass handed to him about this, let Derek know, have a conversation with Megan. Tell Megan how you feel about it, because maybe she just doesn't realize. Maybe it's nerves. It's early days. Like, there are a lot of different things that could be happening. But if you have an issue with something, let her know. Meanwhile, the girls are hanging out, and Jalen is showing the ladies off her ring. And Belinda was like, I think you two were so smitten with each other. She's proud of her daughter. She said how it is interesting and kind of refreshing to now see a little, God, what word did she say? I'll say different, to see Jalen now as a full grown woman and not just her daughter. Belinda Belinda then says, yeah, I got a little ring too, but this is just my temporary ring. I'm gonna get a bigger ring later. Don't try to one up your daughter, Belinda. Let her have that moment. Rhonda lets them know that her and Pat has said, I love you. And that was after she told Pat, you're gonna ask me about myself, you hear? And I was like, I want Rhonda and Pat to work. I really do. But I don't know. Rhonda is also the woman whose children said that she's a lot. So we'll see. Derek and Megan go paddleboarding, and Megan is so awkward. And I don't know if she's awkward or she doesn't like him. I can't decide quite yet. This is when it would be a little more helpful if we had the longer episodes, but that's okay. Excuse me. That's okay. He lets her know, Derek, that he wants her to start asking more questions. So she immediately gets defensive and was like, that's not true. I do ask questions. Look. The way that y'all are getting defensive about somebody being like, ask me about me more is crazy. You're not asking him about himself, Megan. We're seeing the conversations. So then she flips and it's like, well, I feel the same way. And you're not doing it either. Shut up. Because now you just sitting up here lying. Now you sitting up here lying. We saw Derek struggle through that conversation at lunch, where you would answer with one or two words, and then you would look out into the atmosphere. Don't do that. Don't do that. So then Megan is like, well, I thought that we were just enjoying the moment. Megan, you don't want to get deep into anything right now, and I would like to understand why. But every season, we get one person that is like this, that is like, let's just enjoy this free vacation. We can deal with all that stuff later. And then y'all run into huge issues. Huge. Huge. You can enjoy the moment and get to know him at the same time. She now feels ambushed in her confessional and she wants to be alone. Go get yourself together, Megan. Cause I feel like I just feel like you're doing a lot right now. Brittany and Will, we're back at the room, and Brittany lets Will know that after talking with Megan, she feels like, or she realizes that her and Derek are more like where they want to ask more questions and get to know them more, and they're very open and willing to go deep. Will was like, nah, you don't ask me anything. Brittany was like, what do you mean? I've been trying to. And Will was like, when? How? With words? With words would have sent me to the moon. I would have lost it on him. With words? Oh, that was so disrespectful. Will then goes on to say that he has been more intentional and she will just simply ask the same question back, and in return, and she's just very vague and ambiguous with her answers. So she would say, well, I didn't think I needed to be super specific. Brittany, are you listening to yourself talk? Earlier in this episode, you said that you like to ask questions and go deep, right? And now you're saying you didn't know that you needed to ask specific questions. What's happening? So then she's like, well, I don't want to know your favorite color or your book. I want to know how to be a good wife to you. And she feels that things should happen through organic conversation. That will come through organic conversation. Right? I'm a person that I don't like being asked a gazillion if I'm out on a date with somebody and this man is asking me a bunch of stuff, I don't like small talk, right? So I don't want you to ask me my favorite color and my favorite song, that type of stuff. That type of stuff will come out through conversation. You know what I mean? You don't have to ask me what my favorite color is. You'll see me wearing it. You'll come in my house and you'll see, okay, this is that color. Oh, okay. So clearly you like pink. Got it. Clearly you like black because I black aesthetic, right? I just feel like don't ask me what is your favorite song or what's your favorite color? Like I just feel like stuff like that you can learn through conversation. I went to the Brandy and Monica concert a couple of weeks ago. Brandy has been my favorite singer since I was a child, right? Since Brandy came out, we grew up together. Well, she older, but you know. Right? So if I'm telling you, oh, I went to the Brandy and Monica concert, oh my God, look at this video I got of her performing Angel in Disguise. Clearly, Angel in Disguise is one of my favorite Brandy songs because that's the first clip that I go to reach to show people. And I think that through organic conversation, you'll learn stuff like that, and then you will learn how you can be a good wife to him. Brittany is... Brittany wants to be married, she wants to be a wife, and I would like to know, like, let's dig deeper. Let's dig deep into her relationship. Brittany's the one that said that she never saw her parents kiss or hug or anything like that, right? So is it that you are trying to build up what you think a marriage should look like? It's interesting, but like you're going about this the wrong way because you're forcing it and you're coming on way too strong, right? She wants to know his love language. Basically, ask him. Ask him. And you can ask somebody, what is your love language? So he then said that he doesn't need to be told he's pretty or for her to constantly touch on him. He was like, but if you need words of affirmation and you need physical touch, I got you. I can do that. So she's like, you know what? Okay, let me calm down. Let me calm down. And he was like, I mean, it's okay. If you're upset, it's okay. So she was like, well, I'm upset that you keep saying yes. And I'm like, ugh. So he tells her, look, I'm not going to tell you how to digest your feelings. If you're upset, you're upset. I can't tell you how to not be irritated. So she is frustrated that they aren't even on two separate pages, but they are in two different books. So she's like, I'm going to go get in the shower. I said, go get in the shower, sis. She goes downstairs and she's eating. And she's telling production, this is crazy. I just don't understand. Like, he doesn't want to talk to me. I want more, he doesn't. I want more, he doesn't. I said, Brittany, I just feel like Brittany's working herself up into a tizzy, right? And I'm not saying Will is innocent. Will is very aloof and very obtuse about certain things. And Will has a smidge of he's condescending. Because the whole with words, we would have had an argument then and there. But Will is saying in his he's talking to production, I'm not gonna go chase after her. She said that she was going to get in the shower and she went downstairs. She left for a reason. He said that she lacks awareness and she has communication issues. Truth be told, if you said I'm going to get in the shower and then you go downstairs and start eating, I'm not going to look for you either. Yikes. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, and leave your comments down below. Hype me up. Peace.